All right, let's get right into it. Choosing an online proctoring solution, well, it's a huge deal. Seriously. This is one of those tech decisions that doesn't just live in the IT department. Nope, it ripples out and touches pretty much everyone at your institution, shaping everything from academic integrity to the actual student experience. Getting this right is absolutely crucial, and that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with why this is such a high-stakes decision. Then we'll walk through how to actually define your own needs, understand the different models out there, cover the core criteria you should be judging by, point out the common mistakes so you can avoid them, and finally, wrap it all up with how to make a truly informed choice. So really, why is this so impactful? Well, because it goes way, way beyond just catching cheaters. The solution you pick directly impacts your school's reputation for academic integrity. It basically defines the student testing experience. And trust me, if you get that wrong, you will hear about it. It also has a huge effect on faculty workload and, of course, the bottom line, your operational costs. This is a choice that has some pretty serious long-term consequences.
Okay, so with stakes this high, you'd think every institution would have a bulletproof process for this, right? But here's the thing. There's one fundamental mistake that so many people make right from the very start. Any ideas what that might be?
And there it is. This is the #1 pitfall. The moment you let a vendor lead the conversation, you start evaluating them based on their cool features and their strengths, not on what your institution actually specifically needs. You see how that works? It's a classic case of putting the cart before the horse. So the most important thing you can do is your homework. First, before you even dream of sitting through a demo, you need to have a crystal clear picture of what you truly need. This initial self-assessment is the foundation for everything that follows. It's what empowers you to make the right call.
And this breaks that self-assessment down into 4 key areas. First, your institutional context and scale. How many students are we talking about? What do your peak exam periods look like? Second, exam characteristics. Are these high-stakes finals for a certification program, or are they low-stakes weekly quizzes? Third, your student population. Do they all have brand new laptops and amazing Wi-Fi, or is it a mix of devices and bandwidths? And finally, your budget and compliance constraints. What can you actually afford, and what rules, like accessibility standards, do you absolutely have to follow?
Okay, so once you've got a handle on your own needs, then you can start looking at what the market has to offer. Because now you can actually match what you need to the different types of solutions out there. And believe me, not all proctoring is created equal. Most of them fall into one of 4 basic models.
And this is a great way to see it all at a glance. You've got your fully automated AI-only systems. These are great for huge volumes of lower-stakes exams, but you have to watch out for false positives. Then there's live, human proctoring, kind of the gold standard for super high-stakes stuff, but it's pricey and can be a headache to schedule. The hybrid model tries to give you the best of both worlds, using AI to flag things for a human to review, and finally record and review, which is more of a budget-friendly deterrent, since it doesn't stop cheating as it happens.
So you know what you need, and you know the different models available. Now for the big question. How do you actually compare vendors? Apples to apples. You need a solid set of criteria that goes way beyond the glossy sales pitch.
We've identified about 10 core criteria you should be looking at for a really thorough evaluation. Now I know 10 sounds like a lot. So to make this way easier to manage, we're going to group them into 3 logical areas: security, user experience, and of course, technology and cost. First up, let's talk security and integrity. This is the whole point, right? You need to ask the tough questions. How exactly do you verify a student's identity? What's the full scope of your monitoring? Are we talking just webcam or screen and audio too? How good are your fraud detection techniques, really? And this one's huge. When something is flagged, what kind of concrete evidence do you provide? Next, let's talk about the user experience. And I mean for everyone involved. What's it like for a student on a beat-up laptop with shaky internet? How easy or difficult is it for a professor to set up an exam? And what happens when a student panics because something isn't working mid-exam? Is there live human tech support available right then and there? Honestly, this area can make or break the whole thing.
And our final bucket covers the nuts and bolts. How smoothly does this thing integrate with your LMS? Can it actually handle the massive load of finals week without crashing? Where are student data being stored? And is it secure? And so important, what is the total cost of ownership? We're not just talking price per exam, we're talking setup fees, training, support, the whole shebang.
Knowing what to look for is half the battle. The other half is knowing what mistakes to avoid. So let's flip the script and turn these common pitfalls into a really simple, actionable strategy for you.
It really boils down to these three critical steps. 1. Start with your requirements, not the vendor's shiny feature list. 2. And this is non-negotiable. Always run a pilot test with real students and real faculty. It will uncover things a slick demo never, ever will. And 3. Look beyond that initial price tag and do the math to figure out the true, total cost over time.
When you follow a process like this, something really interesting happens. Your mindset shifts. You're no longer just buying a piece of software. You're making a strategic investment in your institution's quality, its reputation, and its future.
So, to wrap this all up, here's your final checklist for success. First, define your own requirements before you even look at a single vendor. Then, get everybody involved. Students, faculty, IT, admins. Always run a pilot before you sign on the dotted line. Check references, especially from schools that look a lot like yours. And finally, think long-term. Think about where you'll be in 5 years, not just what you need for next semester. And that really leaves us with this final, crucial question. What are you actually doing here? Are you just buying a temporary tool to plug a hole, or are you truly investing in the future of your institution? The choice you make isn't just about solving today's problem. It's about building a foundation of quality and integrity for years to come. So choose wisely.